Good morning, students of Standard 9. Today we are going to take up with the Vedic culture, or known as the Vedic period. When the Aryans came to India, that period is known as the early Vedic period. That is between 1500 BC to 1000 BC. And as between the year that is 1000 to 500 BC, iron was well known, and when the Aryans they came to India, they utilized the iron by making tools and cleared the mighty forest and settled down in the basin of river Ganga and Yamuna. So this period when the Aryans settled down there and started their pastoral farming, that is known as the later Vedic period. They took up agriculture and started living a settled life. So in history we call it as the later Vedic period. So the later Vedic period and the early Vedic period are the two phases of the early settlement of the Indus Valley people, or the Aryans we call it, not the Indus Valley people, the Aryans we call it. Then what are the different sources of getting the information regarding the early Vedic period and the later Vedic period? So this can be broadly divided into two groups, that is the literary sources and the archaeological sources. The literary sources supposed to be the written records, and the archaeological sources being the remains of the past. So today in our topic we will deal about the literary sources. So the literary sources, it is divided into different Vedas. The Vedas are supposed to be the philosophical guide, and they provide us with a vast knowledge of information about the Aryan culture, their way of life, their economy, their beliefs, tradition, etc. So therefore the religious text of the Aryans can be divided into two, with the Shruti and the Smriti. The Shruti is supposed to be derived from the knowledge passed by God to the sages orally, and they have been passing this knowledge orally to generations after generation. And the Smriti was supposed to be the verses composed by the sages or the rishis or the munis. So the Vedas, as we call it, the storehouse of knowledge. The word Veda comes from the Sanskrit word Ved, which means knowledge. Therefore, Vedas are a storehouse of knowledge. That is the meaning of Veda. So in the Vedas we have the Rig Veda. The Rig Veda is supposed to be the oldest Veda, and it is believed to be the oldest testament in human. It deals with the all philosophical belief and traditions and the way of living of the people. It was believed that this was passed orally by God to the sages and is passed after generation and generation, to generations after generations. So the Rig Veda is an important source of our knowledge about the Aryan society, and it also contains the famous Gayatri mantra in our tradition. The Rig Veda contains, and other Vedas, that the Rig Veda was first composed in the early Vedic period, and in the later Vedic the parts and subparts were composed in the later Vedic period. So clear? So the next we move down to the Sama Veda. The Sama Veda, the word Sama means sweet song, melody. That means this were sung by the priest during the sacrifices. This was, that's it, the Sama Veda means sweet melody or sweet song that was sung by the priest during the sacrifices. Clear? Then we have the Yajur Veda. The Yajur Veda deals with the yajnas. The hymns are sung in the time of yajnas, that the early Aryans performed different yajnas, and so the hymns are sung while performing the different yajnas. Then the Atharvaveda. The Atharvaveda deals with the knowledge of magical enchant. That means it also lays down the different way, like Gyan, that is knowledge, and also says that is karma, action, and upasana, invocation. It also deals with the magic and charm. Therefore, the Atharvaveda. Now, coming to the next, we have the Arankyas. The Arankyas as referred as the forest books or the jungle books. That means this was specially written for the hermits and the sages or the sannyasis that are living in the forest. Their way of life, when they meditate there, what the rules and conduct to be practiced, that was the Arankyas written for the forest books. Then we have the Upanishads. The Upanishads are also the commentary of the Vedas, and therefore the Upanishad deals with the three main forms. That is the karma, that is action. If you have done good deeds, you will be rewarded. And then moksha. The ultimate aim of man's life is to attain salvation or moksha. Then Maya. Get rid of the worldly affairs, the worldly materialism that deals with the Upanishads. So these are, we call it as the Vedas. They reveal the knowledge of the Aryan society, their culture and other beliefs. That is the Vedas describe. Then apart from the other sources, we have the allied Vedic literature. That is, the allied Vedic literature can be grouped under like the Vedangas. The Vedangas are the ways in which the name suggests how to lead a normal life. They suggest the daily conduct of following a life rather than explained in the Vedangas. Then we have the Sutras. The Sutras are in different forms. That is, we call the Saratra Sutra. That means it deals about with the yajnas and sacrifice that a person should perform. That is called the Saratra Sutra. Then the Grihastha Sutra, it defines the way of the family right from the birth till the death. What moral life he or should lead. That is called the Grihastha Sutra. Then the Dharma Sutra. The Dharma Sutra defines the rule of conduct for the entire people. What rules they should follow by living in a society. That defines in the Dharma Sutra. Then we have the Upavedas. The Upavedas are there. They deals about with the Ayurveda. First one we say they are also the Vedas, Ayurveda. The Ayurveda you have already learnt about the ancient way of medicine, curing disease by using Ayurveda or herbs that deals with the knowledge of Ayurveda. Then we have the Dhanurveda. Dhanurveda generally means the art of warfare, fighting, like using the different weapons prevalent at that time, that deals with the Dhanurveda or the art of warfare. Then finally we have the Gandharveda. The Gandharveda describes about the music and charm, that is music, the Gandharveda. And finally the Shilpa Veda defines with the art and architecture of prevalent at that time. Shilpi means what art and sculpture or architecture that was designed by the Aryans. Apart from this, we have the law books, that is Manusmriti, that was the ancient Hindu lawgiver written by Manu, also is a source of information about the Hindu code of law prevalent at that time. Then we have Panani's Ashtadhyayi, deals about with the Sanskrit grammar. The root of the Sanskrit words are very well explained in Panani's Ashtadhyayi. So these are the sources that we know about the areas. Then finally we have the two great epics, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. The Ramayana believed to be composed by Maharshi Valmiki. It revolves around the Rama and his wife Sita abducted by the Devan king Ravana, and a serious battle between Ravana and Ram took place. And this also marks the victory of good over evil. It marks also the devotion, the love shown by the brothers. That also is an important source of our knowledge about the ancient culture of the Aryans. Then we have Mahabharata, composed by Rishi Vyas. It also shows how the battle of Mahabharata between the Pandavas and the Kauravas. And this also reveals us with the important aspects of knowledge and prevalent, the various kingdoms prevalent at that time, the mode of warfare, the belief of the people, the social distinction also gives us about the knowledge of the ancient times. So these were some of the literary sources that we come across gathering the information of the Vedic culture or the Vedic age. Then the importance of these epics. What are the importance of these epics? The epics play a very important role in furnishing the information about the Aryans' way of life, their culture, their societies. First of all, it marks the various kingdoms of the Aryans, like described in Mahabharata, the different kingdoms, the kings, their dress, their ornaments, the way of life, and the different kingdoms that spread during that period. Then it also personifies certain heroes, Mahabharata. So it personifies the heroes, and people began to take the name of those heroes and rejoice after taking the name of these heroes. It personifies. Then also believes about the customs, the traditions of prevalent at that time. In short, we can say that the epics, both the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, played a major role in furnishing the knowledge about the early Aryans. Clear? So this all we have in the in the literary sources. So next class will deal about the archaeological sources about the Aryans' history. So till then, go through the topic. Have a good day. God bless you.